Funkle's Customs, where I find all kinds of cars in different places. I usually fix them and flip them, but sometimes I keep them. This is My Garage Revivals.
Today I collected the interior for our second gen Firebird as well as its brand new wheels and tires. Hello everybody and welcome back to My Garage Revivals. It is a brand new week, Monday morning, and yes, I've been a little bit busy with cleaning up the shop. As you can see, we've got no more engine parts at all. That is because I have made a deal with a guy for a future project vehicle that's coming to the series. So he traded me all the engine parts for a 1971 Plymouth Satellite. So we will be getting that car in very soon. And yes, I also managed to build up another engine that is in good running condition for ourselves. So we'll be able to use this engine wherever we need it. But yeah, as you can see, we also have the interior for the second gen Firebird that I collected over the weekend. So this will be hopefully going into the car today. So we also need to do a little bit of a delivery today to Richard's Autobody. So we need to take this emergency light, as well as the front bumper, replacement bumper for Scotia's truck, over to Richard's Autobody, because I need to mock those things up and yeah, basically get it painted as well. As for our next customer vehicle over here, as you can see, it's quite a beat up B200, which has been in a little bit of an accident. So the guy said that he actually went a little bit off-roading. So his name is TC, and we are going to have to see if we can get this thing fixed up for him. And we're also going to do a little bit of modification. So there's no mechanical damage. Well, there might be a little bit of suspension damage, but we'll sort that out without any problems. But yes, we are going to be upgrading the engine a little bit by adding maybe some 6-pack carburetors, and we'll maybe do some performance heads and just get a little bit more power out of this thing. And then we are also going to be lifting it, and we're going to be slapping on some off-road wheels and tires. And yeah, as for this bumper guard that we bought in the last episode, we will be using this on that truck as well. So we'll be installing that and giving this thing a nice new paint job, and just make sure that everything is going to be perfect when this truck goes back to him. But I think before we get into this, let's start off by taking our parts we need to take over to Richard's Autobody first of all. And then we can also bring our second gen Firebird back to the shop. And hopefully we can sort that car out today. I might still have to wait for the door handles and the mirror chrome to come. But yeah, that's not a big problem. We'll get those things sorted within the day. So yeah, let's start this thing up and head over to Richard's Autobody. Alright, so here we are, and let's grab our new front bumper for Scotia's Ram truck. So they've been busy over the weekend, and they took care of all of the rust on the truck, and they also managed to get it sprayed in primer. So yeah, next time we see this thing, it'll hopefully be having some color on it. So at the moment it is looking very plain. So yeah, they've got a very good idea for the paint job on this thing. So there's going to be a two-tone paint job, as I mentioned on Friday's episode. So it's going to be dark blue and then also light blue at the top, and then also the wheels are going to be light blue. And yeah, obviously they stripped some of the stuff off. We are still going to need some more parts and accessories coming in for this thing, like some missing trim pieces, because we only have a couple of trim pieces here. So we'll be getting all of those ordered up for, yeah, basically the next time we see this truck. So that'll be available. And we also ordered a brand new interior for the truck that we're going to be installing soon. So we decided to go with a different color, and we're also getting a new headliner. So yeah, this thing is coming along very nicely. But as for our second gen Firebird, as you can see, they have painted it, and I decided to go with this gunmetal gray color, which is yeah, I think it's a very nice color for this era of car, and also for the type of car that we are trying to build here. I think it's going to be a very nice design with the wheels and the color of the interior, which is going to be beige. So I think that's gonna look very nice. They also did tint the windows for me. Well, actually the back window. Alright, so let's see if we can get this thing fired up. And yeah, I still need to lower the ramps on our ramp truck over there. But we can get this thing into position. And yes, this thing makes quite a bit of power. So let's just see if we can get this thing lined up. And then we'll quickly offload the emergency light. And yeah, see if we can get this thing back to the shop. Alright, so she's all loaded up. And let's just get our ramp stuck back in. And then we're going to take this thing back to the shop. See if we can finish off everything. Yeah, except for the door handles and the mirrors. So those are still coming. So yeah, once that gets here, we can get this thing basically sent to auction. Because as you guys know, this is going to be one of our flip vehicles. Alright, so here we go. And I'll see you guys back at the shop. Alright, so we're at the shop, and I think we're going to have to offload this car before we try and pull it into the garage. I think it's going to be a little too high to go through the garage door over there. So let me see if I can get up on this ramp truck. Yeah, we can probably just walk along here. Alright, and there we go. Let's get our handbrake off. There we go. Alright, and start it up. Alright, this thing just wants to burn rubber all the way, so I'm trying to avoid using the accelerator too much. Alright, but there we go, she's in the shop, and now let me just quickly pull the old ramp truck in. I think I'm just going to nosedive it into there again. Not going to bother with reversing it in at the moment, so yeah, that is fine. Alright, so let's get cracking on this second gen Firebird. We've got basically the interior to install, as well as the wheels and tires. So I think let's start with the wheels and tires first of all. So we're going to grab a floor jack. I don't think we're going to need to put it on a lift just to change the wheels. So let's just jack it up. There we go. I might actually have to still put air into those tires. Can't remember if they put air into it for me. So I guess we'll figure that out once we lower this thing down. Just notice this rim is actually badly bent. So luckily we are not going to be using these wheels and tires for anything else. So they were good for just moving the car around with. So now we've got a set of other wheels that we can start using. The ones that we took off the Bel Air. Which I must say, I did drive that car over the weekend a little bit. And it is running and driving very well. Alright, so here are the wheels that's going onto this car. We've got these nice 5-spoke rims. So one of these actually came off the third gen Firebird from Harry. So I just went along and bought 3 others of the same wheels and also had them all chromed. So that we've got a matching set of wheels for this car. So I think that is definitely a very nice look for this car. And obviously we don't have air in the tires, so I think let's lift it up a little bit. Let's grab our air compressor over here. I already adjusted this thing to 2.2 bars pressure, which should be enough for these tires. Right, let's inflate them all quickly. And there we go, that is the front wheel. Let's do this rear one as well. Right, going all the way to 2.2 bar. And I believe that should do. Alright, so now we need to go over to this side and just repeat the process of changing out the wheels. So we'll come on this side, we'll just get our jack lowered down. Alright, and we're going to lift up this side. And let's get these old wheels removed. So I see they did paint the wheels as well. They don't really have to because, yeah, I'm going to get rid of these. They are quite buckled and worn. So we're going to get probably get a little bit of money back for scrap, because I'm going to be scrapping a lot of parts, because yeah, our shop is just stocked with a bunch of stuff that we don't really use or don't really need in the shop. So we are going to be cleaning up a little bit. Alright, so there we go, the old wheels are off. So let's grab the last 2 wheels we need to install on that side. I actually like these tires that I found. They've got these red lines. I'm not sure what you call it. It's almost like a red wall. It's a very thin red wall. But it looks decent, and I think it definitely matches the car. Alright, so there we go. That's basically all of the wheels and tires installed. So now we can just put our wrench down on the table, because we're going to use it when we start stripping this thing now. And also I think we need a wrench for some of the interior bits as well, so we'll get that sorted. Alright, let's quickly air up these tires as well on this side. And I must say, this air compressor is definitely a very good investment. Saves me a lot of time. And it does the job pretty decent. Alright, and we are at 2.2 bars all the way around, so that has been sorted out. So yeah, I must say, I actually love this tool. It's a very good investment if you are looking to get one for yourselves. It is available on Spasman's Discord server, so yeah, join my Discord server if you'd like to get access to those. We've got a bunch of mod servers on our Discord, so that is the Gamers Edge Discord. Alright, so we're gonna, yeah, let's just put this thing down properly. Okay, there we go. Alright, so first of all, I think let's start with the parts we don't have on the car, like this front left door panel. We'll get that installed. So I think these bolts are a little bit tricky to get to. So let's just see. Alright, so there they are. Okay, so that's the driver's side door sorted out. We're also going to do the passenger side. We've got a decent red door panel on this side, but I'm going to obviously remove it. Alright, so that can go over here for now. And we'll grab the new one that's going onto that door. Alright, let's get this one bolted down as well. Perfect. Alright, let's do our gear shifter. So I decided to go with a pistol grip shifter for this, in the same color as the interior. So this gray one is just going to be a spare part we have kicking around for now. Alright, so let's get this gear shifter installed. It's definitely going to give this car a little bit more of an aggressive look to sort of match the engine we have in this thing. Alright, I think the next part is going to be the big part, which is this headliner. So let's get this bolt undone. And then we'll just rip out this whole interior. Alright, let me just put it somewhere out of the way. Yeah, I think over here should be fine. There we go. Let's go and grab the brand new one. Alright, so let's get this put into the car. And we'll bolt it down over there. And then we're going to go around the other side. We're going to remove the driver's seat. And then we're also going to install the passenger seat. And then that is basically as far as we're going to go with this car for this episode. I think the other parts that we're still missing, I'll probably do that off camera, because that's not really something magical that's going to be, you know, good content for the channel. So we'll just get that sorted out and get this thing shipped over to the auction house, where you can also bid on this car, which is going to be also on the Gamers Edge Discord if you have got all the mods. Alright, and we're going to grab our last driver's seat. And there we go. It's going into the car, and we'll bolt it down all nice and snug. And I actually think this car can stay here, because it's not going to be in our way, because obviously we're going to be working on this truck now. So I want to see if I can get all of these damaged parts removed. So let's first of all see, we've got a bunch of broken parts in the back of the truck. So let's just chuck everything outside. We'll just chuck it on a pile there for now. And obviously the two front wheels, which have definitely been damaged in the accident. So I had to put on the two wheels that we had in the shop just to move this thing into the shop, because it was definitely not going anywhere with these two broken wheels at the front. Alright, and then yeah, we've got a busted taillight over here, which we're going to have to replace. Alright, so now what I'm thinking is, I'm actually surprised that this tailgate's still open. So yeah, we basically need to replace this panel, or this tailgate panel. So let's see if we can get these bolts undone over here. Not sure where these bolts are exactly. They are a little bit hard to reach. Let's just see if we can find it. Yeah, that's just a problem when a car is mangled as badly as this one. You can't really seem to find everything. Nothing is where it's supposed to be. So let's resort to our angle grinder. So I'm just going to have to find a cutting disc quickly. I think there's one on the table over here. Alright, so I think what I'm going to do is let's start cutting this panel off on the side that's so badly damaged. We'll definitely have to replace this. So there's a couple of places we need to cut it off. And there we go. There it instantly pops off and flies away. Alright, so this is definitely a part we'll have to replace. Right, so that is all going to the junkyard, or to the yeah, I think they call it the pawn shop. We'll sell it at Steve's. Get a little bit of money back from all of these scrapped parts. Alright, let's see if we can cut this side off as well. We're gonna have to definitely replace the floor pan on this thing as well. Right, so let's see. Maybe I should just take this whole bed off. I think that is going to be a little bit easier for us to work on it then. So let's go under here. We'll see if we can get to all of these bolts. Hopefully we can. Okay, so these ones are the ones that I'm a little bit concerned about on this side, because this is where all the damage is. But it looks like we've got them all. Right, so here's the old busted floor of the actual bed. So yeah, I don't really know what to do with this thing, because I think this side panel should be fine and the front side panel should be fine. We just need to replace the bed floor. So I want to see if I can cut that thing up into all of its different pieces, or at least cut the pieces off that we need to replace. So I think let's start by cutting everything apart. I mean, that's going to be probably the easiest way to do this. Right, so there's our front part of the bed, or the rear. I don't know what they call this, the bed panel rear right. It's definitely not what it stands for probably, but that is okay. At least we have got a good part. I think this one could actually be salvaged. We need to just maybe knock out a couple of dents on it and put a little bit of Bondo. It doesn't look too bad. This thing, yeah, I think we can save this. Right, as for this inner part as well, it doesn't look too bad, so let's get it cut off as well from this floor. Then obviously I don't have to bother with the tailgate anymore, because that is coming off with the whole bed itself. Alright, so I think that is loose. There we go. I think that is pretty good. So now we can sort out these three parts. So I do have some Bondo. I think it's on the table over here. There we go. Right, so let me quickly see. We're also going to need a hammer, so let's grab the hammer and the Bondo. So I don't think we're going to be able to patch this up. This is just way too far gone. So let's just drop this outside. We'll put it on this side. And there's our beautiful Chevy Bel Air parked under the roof, as I said. We're not going to be parking it out in the sun. So our shop truck is in the sun. But that's fine. Alright, so let's see on this panel if we're going to be able to straighten it out. Doesn't look too bad actually, and it's not really too badly damaged. And neither is this one. This one also looks fairly decent. This one I think is still pristine, as they would say. Right, let's grab a little bit of Bondo. Just sort out this part that was banged in a little bit. Might be some small dents towards the front as well. I mean, usually that's how it works. You get damage spreading to all sorts of directions if you bang into something. So we just got to figure out where all the dents are. And I believe we've got it. Alright, on this panel, I think that most of the damage was here at the back. So we'll just start and smooth out all of these dents over here. And there's probably some damage here at the front as well. I don't know. We'll see what we can find. Might be more along this edge where the taillight mounts. Just as I thought. There we go. Right, so all of these panels are basically sorted out then. We just need to make sure we get the proper floor for this. And obviously the opposite side on the left hand side and the right hand side we need to replace. So that is yeah, basically as far as we can go with that of the extent of the damage. So I did want to actually see if we are going to be able to remove this front damaged part by just undoing the radiator support, which I believe are these two bolts over here. Yeah, as I said, if everything is mangled a bit, it makes it a lot harder. So there we go. There's our radiator support with the broken radiator, broken grill. So I think we can actually do a nose swap on this truck. These radiator hoses might still be good, so let's maybe remove them. I think these are the only parts that's going to be reusable. So they still seem fairly decent. Alright, so there's the bolt on that. So we'll take this off as well. Just put it with the bumper grill over here, or the bumper guard. We'll know where that is. Alright, are there any other useful parts on here? Headlights are busted. Blinkers are busted. This headlight is missing, so yeah, there's nothing usable on this. So we'll do a nose swap, maybe to, yeah, the same one we did on our ramp truck over here, which is the flat nose swap. I think that actually would suit that truck very nicely with this bumper guard that we're going to be installing. So that is going to give it a little bit of a different look. Right, so we're going to undo these two bolts. So this should be for our front bumper over here, which is going to probably, yeah, okay, it wasn't too hard to get out. Alright, so there we go. There's our front bumper and busted license plate out of the way. Alright, so let's see. We probably have to replace these parts that mount to the frame rails, because these frame rails don't look damaged at all. They look fairly decent still. So if I undo these bolts over here, there should be 3 of them. Not sure where the third one is hiding at the moment. See if we can figure out where it is. I think it's that one. Right, so there we go. That is definitely busted up, and the fender is also far gone. Too far gone to try and repair. Alright, and then we'll have to take this battery out. It doesn't look like the battery got any damage, but we'll just inspect this now when we put it down. Yeah, that's still perfect. Alright, and we need to undo this battery wire from this. We'll undo this passenger side as well. Alright, so there we go. Also, these parts are ruined. They are too far gone to try and repair, so that is also going to go to Steve's pawn shop. Alright, as for the hood, I actually wanted to see if this thing is going to be fixable. at all. I don't know if it's going to be, but we'll see if we can fix it up. But we are going to have to replace it if we're doing a no swap on it anyway. But I think just for the kicks, let's see what happens if we try and knock it with the hammer, if anything happens. Yeah, I don't know, it might actually just be too far gone, unless it just needs a bit of Bondo, but I doubt it. Yeah, I think it's just way too damaged, so yeah, that just gives us all the more reason to do a no swap on this thing. Alright, so now what I would like to do is have a look and see if there's anything wrong with the suspension. So we're going to just have to lift up this front end, because I don't think there's any damage at the back. It looks fine at the back. There's no signs of damaged suspension parts or anything that I can see. So this truck was still in very good condition when they went off-roading. Alright, so let's see if there's anything we can notice over here. So let's grab our wrench and take off these front wheels again. Alright, so we'll just put these wheels over there for now. Alright, brake caliper. Let's just check this brake caliper if it's still doing alright. It looks fairly decent still. Let me just make sure that bolt is loose. Yeah, the caliper is still decent. So we can reinstall that once the truck is being assembled again. We're going to need our screwdriver, because I think we've got a bad hub over there. I think that is probably the only thing that got damaged over here. Brake disc still seems decent. So we could probably reuse that. But yes, this hub, as you can tell, it is definitely seen better days now. Yeah, that is quite badly damaged. So we'll have to get 2 new front hubs. And as I said, I'm going to replace the leaf springs with the high leaf springs, or lifted leaf springs. Right, so there's our other wheel that we've got. Right, on this side I'm going to basically do the same thing. We're going to take off this brake caliper, because it looks like this hub is also a bit banged up. Right, so the brake caliper looks decent. Let's just check these hoses while we are busy with this. Yeah, the hoses actually, they seem fine. I don't think there's any problem with the hoses at all. So we can get these put back onto the calipers. Alright, and let's just bolt it down again. Right, so our brakes are still good at the front. Right, let's grab the screwdriver and get this brake disc off, which also still looks fine. Right, so let's put it down on the table there with the other one. And now we just need to remove this hub, because this hub is also, yeah, it's badly damaged. So that is definitely going to have to be replaced. Alright, so as for the engine in this truck, I don't think there's anything else wrong at the front. Let's just double check. So as I was saying, as for the engine, we are going to be doing a couple of bolt-on parts. We don't need to rip the whole engine out. So what I can do is just go down a little bit with this thing, because I want to take the parts off that we are going to be replacing. So I am going to replace this intake manifold, obviously, because we're doing a whole carburetor swap and upgrading this thing a little bit. And I also want to see if I can get to the cylinder heads. We want to take the cylinder heads off as well. I think those are all the bolts on this side. Let's see if we can reach all the bolts from this side as well. Alright, that one is going to be a little bit tricky back there. Alright, I think I've got it. Alright, so let's just put this on the table over here. So we're going to be swapping the whole intake, and we're getting a different air filter and everything for this. And we're also going to be changing the cylinder heads. with performance cylinder heads, just to give this truck a little bit more power. Alright, and I think these rockers, I think the rockers can actually stay, but we do need to take these headers off. Alright, so there's our one header with the exhaust. So let's come and take the other one off as well. Alright, so while we are at it, we are going to be replacing the spark plugs in our new cylinder heads with high performance spark plugs. So we'll give it a little bit of an upgrade. And then I think while we are at it, we can also do the distributor. Because my idea is not to go, you know, to the internals of the engine, but we're going to replace the parts that are reachable on the outside. Like the distributor, we're going to put in the high performance spark plug wires. We are going to be swapping out the transmission with a bigger transmission. We've got a 4-speed in here currently, I believe. So I'm going to be changing that out. And I also need to take off these wires because these wires are a little bit out of place. So maybe if we take them off and reinstall them, we'll be able to get them, yeah, to fit a little bit better. So let's give that a shot quickly. Alright, so they are still fairly decent, so let's get them back on. And look at that, everything just matches up again. So there we go. Alright, and over to this side. Let's do our starter wire again. Perfect. Alright, so let's get our valve cover off on this side as well. Alright, so there's our valve cover. We are going to be reusing these valve covers. We'll just put on the performance heads, because there's absolutely nothing wrong with these valve covers. They are still very good, or actually still brand new. Alright, so let's get this cylinder head removed. So we're also going to do some high performance rockers in this cylinder head. Well, in the cylinder heads that we're going to be replacing these with. Alright, so this is also a part we're going to be replacing. Okay, so that cylinder head is still decent. Let's just check this head gasket. Alright, I might just reuse these because they are not too bad. So let's put them on the table so that they don't disappear. Alright, now we're going to remove this cylinder head on this side as well. And these 3 bolts at the top. Okay, so let me see if I can actually take this thing off the engine. There we go. Alright, so there's another good cylinder head. So we've got a decent set of cylinder heads, at least for the engine. And yeah, this head gasket is also still decent. So we'll reuse that probably as well. We'll just get our performance heads mounted. Alright, so in terms of other parts we can replace on this engine, I think there is a high performance ignition coil as well now that we can get. So we might as well remove this as well. So let's put that down on the table for now. We're gonna see what we can find. Alright, so what I would like to do now is see if we can get that gearbox removed. So let's go a little bit higher. Alright, so let's get these 2 bolts undone. And then we've got 3 bolts over here on the front drive shaft over there. Okay, and then our starter wire needs to come off. Am I going to be able to get it from here? Yeah, it's a little bit hot, so we'll just go down again. Alright, so the starter wire, let's get that loosened up. And then we'll undo the 4 bolts on the transmission. Or I think the word for this is actually bell housing. They call it a bell housing. Right, so there we go. That's our transmission out. We can reuse the starter on this on the new gearbox. So I'm thinking of going with a 5-speed transmission, but I'll just check with TC. Maybe he would prefer a 6-speed transmission, because there is a 6-speed gearbox available as well for these trucks now. Alright, so now I think the last thing that I wanted to do is just go through everything else on the cab, see if everything is straight. So let's start by, I think let's just take the whole cab off. I think it's going to be quick and easy to do. We just need to undo this bolt on the main brake boost over there. Let's undo these 4 bolts on the cab. Right, so there's the last one over there. And there it is. Right, so let's put it down over here. Alright, let's open this door over here. We need to get this bench removed, because I want to check if there's any damage to the firewall, if there's any problems with the floor itself. But everything still looks fairly decent and straight. Don't think the damage went this far. So let's get our bench out. Bench is still decent. Let's just remove this carpet. Right, let's put the carpet down over here as well. Alright, so let's check these pedals and everything like that. The steering column, everything should still be fine, but I'm just making sure on everything, because maybe the firewall got pushed in a bit, causing a little bit of damage to some parts over here. So let's just be sure to check it out. Right, so the steering column still straight, doesn't look like there's any problems there. One thing that I did want to see is this brake booster. It looks like this was shifted a little bit. So what I'm thinking, let's just grab our hammer over here, because I think our hammer is still close by. Let's grab our hammer. Just want to see if there's any parts we can knock out. Doesn't look like it. Everything seems to be decent still. Yeah, there's absolutely no problems with this. And then let me just check it with some Bondo as well, if this cab needs any Bondo anywhere. I doubt it. Yeah, everything still seems to be decent. I don't think there's any problems. Window winders. All the glass still seems to be intact. There's no problem with the windscreen, the rear window, everything looks good. And this window winder still works. Interior still looks fairly decent. Nothing seems to have been damaged at all. Alright, so now let's quickly have a look and see if we can get this brake booster back onto this thing and see if it sits right. Just reset it. And I think that looks a little bit better. Right, perfect. So yeah, I think we can go ahead and put everything back. Just retighten everything. Make sure everything is nice and snug. Nothing's going to come off and fall off, as this truck is going to be driving off-road a lot. Alright, let's bolt down the steering column again. And we'll also undo the bolt on the gear stick. And then we'll just reseat this, because I think maybe it also shifted a bit. But I think everything still looks decent on the cab. I don't think there's any damage. Alright, so let's quickly do a check. So we're going to be replacing the distributor with the spark plug wires. We're going to be replacing both cylinder heads. We've got valve covers that are still very good, so we are going to reuse those. As for the engine, I'm not going to do any internal swaps like the pistons and the camshaft or anything like the crankshaft. We're going to leave everything stock. Basically, we're just going to be doing all the bolt-on parts like the intake. Which reminds me, I can actually take this thermostat housing off as well, because we don't need to buy a new one if that one is still decent. So I think that is still, yeah, that's still basically brand new. Ignition coil we're going to be replacing. We're going to replace both cylinder heads, spark plugs on both of them, and also the rockers are going to be swapped. And the head gaskets we'll reuse. We've got our old starter here. We're going to order a new transmission for this thing. And then as for the damaged body parts, I'm going to go out and buy all these parts brand new. We're not going to go and look for a donor vehicle, because obviously this vehicle is for a customer. Going to try and replace all of the parts with brand new parts. We're not going to cut any corners or try and save money too much. We're going to be doing this one properly, because it's going to be an off-road machine, and this thing needs to be very reliable, and it should handle any type of obstacle that you throw at it. But yes, looking at the time, I think that is going to be a wrap for this episode. So thank you very much for watching. I do appreciate every view, every like. And also, if you have not yet subscribed to the channel, please consider doing so. I will appreciate it very much. But yes, until the next time, cheerio!